Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Thursday. I am Sarah. I'm a traditional Usui Reiki master teacher, a holistic life coach, and a yoga teacher. I have been practicing for 20 years. I've been teaching for 10. I go live inside of this group on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then outside on my business page on Wednesdays. All of them at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And today's topic is truthfulness. And it's something that, comes up when we do the yoga teacher trainings, and I talk a little bit about in my 90-day module. It's something that we sometimes are not even aware of how truthful we are not being. I don't know if that's a proper sentence. That is definitely not a proper sentence. We are not aware of how much we lie. That's what I mean to say. I was trying to make it look nice, but you see, that's exactly the problem, right? We try to soften the truth. And I just did that. Why? Because I'm live and I have to go on this channel, and well, I don't have to do anything, but I choose to go on this channel, and then going live is a little like interesting, and I don't know who's watching, and sometimes I try to kind of tone it down a little bit. I'm a lot more direct with my students when they're working with me. They get used to my tone, they get used to my bluntness. But when I go live, I try to just simmer it down so that I don't scare people, right? And there, I just freaking did it. I was just basically trying to say, why do we lie? Let's talk about why we lie. And instead of saying that, I say, oh, let's talk about why we're not always truthful, like just a tiny thing like that. We might not think of as a lie. And this is something that literally I just stumbled over my words, and it became a lesson, because that's exactly what happens in our mind. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Before I dive into the topic, a couple of things. I'm a little early today because I accidentally double booked myself. So I'm just recording this 15 minutes ahead of schedule so that if you're looking for the live, then you can see it later. Starting next week, I promise I'll try and just keep it exactly at 9 o'clock so you can watch it live and ask questions and comments. If you do watch the replay, please hit #replay and make sure you like and comment. It helps me to reach more people. Let's see. I am really excited to announce I officially put out all of the dates and the announcements and the links for the yoga teacher training that starts March 16. So if you have been on the fence, if you have been on the silence, just kind of watching and saying, that lady is a little loud and a little interesting, and I like to learn a little bit more and study a little bit more with her, the yoga teacher training is going to be a super affordable way to work with me. I really want you to consider that program. So I basically have 3 tracks. I have the 90-day program where we do holistic life coaching. We learn about energy. We learn about how the mind works. And it's really, really enlightening and amazing. And then I have the yoga teacher training, which goes on 3-month modules once a week for 12 weeks, each module, and then 2 Saturdays per quarter. And those are kind of like the entry points to work with me. And after you've completed, or if you're enrolled in one of those programs, then you have the option to continue to study at deeper levels. I have a program, a 12-month mastermind program, Rising with Purpose, that is only available to students who have completed one of those 2 initial entry points. So if you want to learn more about this, look for the links everywhere on the announcements tabs. Check out my website, book a call with me and my team. We'll love to share more about it. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we really need to start with is the truth, being truthful with ourselves. Honestly, that is the root cause of every other lie, is the things that we don't want to face. Not just in regards to the external situation. So yesterday we talked a little bit about how we lie to ourselves because about fear. We talked about fear yesterday. And I was talking about how a lot of the times we don't want to face certain things because then we would have to take action to change them, and we would have to take responsibility for making the changes necessary once we see clearly. And so it's that fear that kind of leads to the first lie. We don't want to see, so we convince ourselves that things are okay, that we can survive, that we can cope, that everything's okay, when deep inside we know it's not. And that begins kind of like the snowball of dysfunction, because it comes from a place of fear, of not wanting to see externally the things that make us uncomfortable. The second layer of that is, okay, we don't want to see externally because then we don't want to see internally our own flaws that made us get tangled in that situation in the first place. So if you got yourself into a bad relationship, into a bad job, if you are having financial difficulties, if you are having whatever it is, what is it about you that created this situation, right? So because we don't want to take responsibility for that, we twist it, and we convince ourselves that things are different than they really are, because if we do that, then we think that we don't have to fix the problem. But the problem is still there, the issue is still there, and by not facing it and not being truthful with yourself about it, you are actually not able to fix it, because you cannot fix something that you can't see. So that's the root of the first lies that we tell ourselves, right? We are in a place of fear. We don't want to face the external situation and admit that it's not good, because then we would have to face the internal part of ourselves that got tangled in whatever situation we got tangled into the first place. And so then we begin to lie to ourselves and about the situation, that and making it just be okay and coping with it and pretending that it's something that it's not, just so that we don't have to deal with the pain and we don't have to do the work. The other reason that we lie is because of ego. We want to present a different face to the world. We are unwilling to, again, because we don't want to see ourselves, then we don't want to be seen, and we put up these facades. And that is the most exhausting thing that you could possibly do. Every time that you put on a facade, that you put on a mask, it's a waste of energy. It takes so much energy to keep up that cover. And we do that because we want to be liked, we want to belong, we have an innate need to be validated and approved by others. And so that's why we just refuse to see, really. It's what's happening. And then we twist it and we convince ourselves that reality is something that it's not. And then what happens is the pathways of your brain literally get confused. And you get to a point where you honestly no longer know which is the real truth and which one isn't. Because you have spent so much energy trying to convince yourself of what is not. Just so that you don't have to deal with the fear. Just so that you don't have to take responsibility and make changes. And just so that you are not seen by others, and because you have these facades that you have to keep up. And so that is the root of where lying comes from. And it sounds so harsh, right? It sounds so harsh to just even admit that we do that. But in order to fix it, in order to see it, you have to own it. You have to see what it is you're doing, so that you can then begin to take conscious steps and actions to change it, so that every time you catch yourself lying to yourself and twisting the truth and pretending things are okay when you know they're really not, because deep inside that you know, we all know there's a conscious self and a spirit that sees and that feels. We talked about emotions a few days ago, and I was telling you how your emotions are your blinking light and your spirit telling you what you need to pay attention to. It doesn't feel right. It literally begins to kind of like leak energy out of your system. It makes you shaky, it makes you fuzzy. You no longer have the solid ground to stand on because you've kind of weakened your integrity. And when you do that, then everything else that you do has that quality to it. Where if you speak to a truthful person who is very direct and careful with their words, then you can literally feel that vibration in their voice. You can feel the strength. Why? Because they're standing on solid ground. They're coming from a place of integrity. They're fearless. And so that comes through, and you can hear and feel the truth in the vibration of their voice. And that's what we're all striving to do. And then when you do that, what happens is you're able to effortlessly manifest what you want. Why? Because the universe listens to you. Because when you say, this is what I'm going to do and this is what it's going to happen, you go way out of your way to make sure that's the case, and the universe responds because it trusts you, because you're not shaky with your words and with your commitments. That's another thing I was talking about on our Saturday class. We have a Yamas and Niyamas class as part of all of these programs that I was describing before. And the topic last Saturday was truthfulness. And I was talking a little bit about how the importance of keeping our commitments. You know, a lot of the times people say, yeah, I'll be there. And maybe you don't intend to be there, but you don't have the courage to say, no, I don't want to go. Something as simple as that creates a shakiness in your energy system. It weakens your vibration, and it's just not freaking worth it. You know, that's the thing. The price that we pay for the lies that we tell ourselves and that we tell about us to ourselves and to others, it's not worth the leaking of energy that happens. So, and it takes practice. A lot of the times, this is just societal norm. This is how you were raised. You were told that it was not polite to be so upfront and so blunt and so direct, right? You were trained to cover things up and to soften them a little bit so that you look nice and you don't hurt people's feelings. So a lot of it is collective programming and the way that we have been taught to think and taught to behave. So that is my short talk on truthfulness today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, so many amazing things going on. I'm just rattle them off real quick. We have a free 5-day challenge coming up January 25th to the 29th. Then on Saturday, January 30th, we have a manifestation workshop that's going to be amazing. It's going to be a VIP option for that 5-day challenge, but you don't have to do it. You don't have to do the challenge in order to participate on Saturday. You could just join us on Saturday for the manifestation workshop. So that's what's going on in regards to free offerings. And then we have the 90-day program, 90-day awakening and empowerment program, which is amazing. A combination of yoga, holistic life coaching, and understanding so that you really create transformation in your life in 90 days and come to a whole higher level of consciousness. We have the yoga teacher training starting March 16. That's going to run for 3 months at a time. And that's going to be once a week on Tuesdays and then 2 Saturdays per quarter. And then if you have been working with me, the door is now open for the 12-month mastermind, Rising with Purpose. That is also going to be an amazing, really high vibration group of women. I'm being very selective with the women that will be part of that program because we're going to go for a whole year and we're going to go really in depth. You can join at any time after you complete one of the other 2 programs. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to contact me with any questions, book a call with me and my team to learn about any of these programs. See you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.